This is Jeremy Phillips from findingyourchurch.com, and we've all went to church websites where we've gone to the podcast section or the media section, and it's just terrible. Basically, that you're kind of scrolling through a bunch of blog posts and trying to find the play links, and then sometimes it goes out to an app, and I'm not saying that's terrible because it probably works great for the app, but it definitely does not work good for the website experience. And I think also then another problem is they don't even have a podcast at all, so they have to go to the website. And then one of the best things about having an iTunes podcast or a Stitcher or something like that is for sure on iTunes it keeps track of your place, and so when you listen to a sermon and you're only halfway through, it holds your place in the iTunes app. And it's just not as good to have to go to the website anyway. But one of the advantages of the website is the media player. And so there are a lot of terrible options for media players for church websites, but there is one amazing option, and the link to learn more about that is in the YouTube description, and that'll take you to my website and you can learn more there. But I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So basically, you can create a page, and then you have the ability to have as many series as you want. The speakers are all right there, and there's different ways to lay this out, but all the topics that they can sift through. And then when you put in the player, you can pull up all of the messages from one speaker, all the messages from one series, all the messages from one topic. You can either watch or listen. So if you don't have a video, then you can it'll just have the listen tab, and you can put in a graphic for one series, and you don't have to keep uploading it for every sermon in the series. Once you put it in the series itself, it will always take this graphic, and so that kind of makes it a little quicker. And just kind of a side note, just free information, you shouldn't upload your sermon podcast to your website hosting. You should always find a way to do it outside. So what I do is I use Amazon S3. It's extremely cheap, like pennies a month, under like $1. It depends on your popularity, but for the average church, it's going to be extremely cheap. And so you can use Amazon S3 storage and link your audio files over there, but then just pop in the link in the back end. And I have other videos on my YouTube channel that show you how to set up those settings. But I'm saying you can just have a listen. So maybe you don't have video, that's fine. It'll just remove this watch. But I can get tons of options here. We've got a lot of sermons in this podcast in this player, and it's basically just go to one page, and I just set up the page, and then I added these buttons here just to get out to to the subscribable part of it. And so I would encourage you, if you're like, what, I'm tired of my terrible WordPress media player. I've tried to do it for free. I've tried to rig it up. Pay a little bit of money. It's under $100 for this plugin. I know it's not free. I know we all like free, but when it solves such a big problem, and it also takes care of all of your podcasting needs. So not only do you get the media player, whenever you put in this audio file, if you set it up correctly, obviously, and you set up your iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play podcast, it'll shoot it directly there. You don't have to go to SoundCloud or Podbean or some other ridiculous third-party site to handle your podcast. You do it all with your WordPress site, and you get a media player, and you can even set up additional podcasts like a youth podcast or a small group Christian living class, Sunday school, whatever, teaching podcast, or Sunday night or Wednesday night podcast, whatever. You can set up different ones and create different ones on iTunes even. So click the link in the description. It'll take you to where you can learn more about this amazing plugin that takes care of all of your media player and podcasting needs. Check it out right now.